see here. Let's see how we sound. Do anything today because, well, test 1 2 3. My. All right. Okay, now let's go to the YouTube app. We should be broadcasting live on the YouTube app currently. Let me see here. All right. Okay, now let's go to the YouTube app. Okay, we should be broadcasting live on the YouTube app currently. Let me see here. Okay, got that turned off. Okay, we got that fixed. All right. All right, we'll give it a couple of minutes here and we will try, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how well we're going to do on a Saturday evening, fast approaching 6 p.m. in West Texas. I doubt the numbers are going to be anything to even, it may not be anyone, but I'm doing this for really tomorrow morning more than I'm doing this for anything right now. And I'm hoping this goes well. So I'm going to try not to look at the numbers very long. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Like I said, I doubt anyone's going to be tuning in, and that's perfectly okay because this is really designed for what I can do tomorrow. So we will see. We will see how this works. Like I said, I'm not expecting anyone to tune in, but we will give this a try. We will give this a try. All right. All right, we'll give it a couple of minutes here. Just a couple of minutes. All right. We will see, we will see, we will see. And then hopefully we'll get started. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have many tune in for a live broadcast on Saturday evening, fast approaching 6 p.m. I don't think that's going to occur. Not a great time to do a live broadcast, but it's the time that's being done. So I'm just going to yeah, we will see. All right. All right. I think we'll get started here in just a second. I think I've got everything queued up. I got all my notes. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hang on. I'm getting... All right. Here we go. Getting some messages. Thank you, Missouri, for tuning in. I appreciate that. We'll get started here in just a second. All right. I think everything is good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, I've got everything queued up, everything ready. Live streams going on YouTube, wherever else we're live broadcasting. Everything's live. Let's do this this is going to be interesting. This is going to be, I don't know how successful this is going to be. It's not going to be very successful in the present. Will it be successful tomorrow morning when that's where it's really going to be tested, and it will all make sense here in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Well, I guess I should say good afternoon, technically, but it's about 3 minutes away from being 6 p.m. here in West Texas. So it feels like I should say good evening, but this broadcast is really for tomorrow morning in a lot of ways. So should I just say good morning as if I'm not actually doing this live? I don't know. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time, whenever you hear this, welcome everyone. It is Saturday, June the 21st, 2025. It is currently 5:57 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. I was going to say West Texas, but Abilene, Texas is more specific, or I should just say in the middle of nowhere, Texas. I'm coming to you live from Texas on this, fast approaching Saturday evening. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that this will be proved to be beneficial for someone, okay? So here's what I'm going to need you to do. I definitely need you to find a notebook, something to write with, preferably a pencil, because, pens are evil and pencils are sanctified. Okay, I always make that joke. But yes, a notebook, a pencil, and at least to write down everything I'm going to give you. And then later on, you'll need a Bible and maybe some kind of reference tool, maybe a Bible dictionary. You can use things online if you would like, but I'm going to be giving you some things to do, and I don't know how well this is going to work. So let me explain everything, get us all on the same page, and then we will dig in, and hopefully by the time this is done, you'll be like, wow, I think this could be very beneficial. Are you ready? It started in October, I believe, of 2024. I decided, you know what? We are going to begin a series covering Isaiah chapter 40 to Isaiah chapter 55. We're going to work through every single word, every single verse, every single letter. And the reason we're going to work through Isaiah 40 through 55 with such great detail is because I have grown very tired, very irritated with every sermon I've ever heard on Isaiah 40 through 55. In fact, I have now reviewed over, I think, 150 sermons on Isaiah 40 through 55. You have heard countless of those reviews right here in this series on Isaiah 40 through 55. And time again, pastors open up Isaiah 40 through 55, and what do? They move out the original recipients and they move us in, and they make this about us, and it's not about us. Isaiah 40 through 55 is specifically about those who were in Babylonian captivity. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about the church. It's about them. Not only that, a lot of people completely miss Cyrus when he, I think, is being referenced, and they don't see that it's referencing Cyrus. And we've talked about all of this. I'm not here to, reteach everything I've done in Isaiah 40 through 55. I think there's over what? I don't even know. Let me tell you. I can tell you exactly how much teaching has been done. Let me tell you here. Over 74 hours of teaching is available to you for free on Isaiah 40 through 55. 74 hours plus of teaching. That's a crazy amount of detail. And we haven't even started Isaiah 44. We've done 74 sermons on Isaiah 40 through Isaiah 43. We haven't even done our observational outline on Isaiah chapter 44 yet. So we have a lot to do and a long ways to go. But when you're covering that much material, right? You're going in that great of detail. You want to believe that when I open the Bible and say, all right, everyone, let's begin our study in Isaiah 44, that everyone who hears me, who's been a part of the study at that point, is going to remember everything from Isaiah 40, remember everything from Isaiah 41, remember everything from Isaiah 42, and remember everything from Isaiah 43. But we know the reality is most of it will be forgotten. So I was thinking, what can I do to try to help people retain a little bit, kind of have them engage with Isaiah 40 through 44 themselves, so that they will be brought back to remembrance, that they will get it really, they will spend some time with it on their own instead of in a passive way, just passively listening, they're actually engaged in doing things. So I started thinking about that. I'm like, okay, I think I can come up with some ideas. So I tried the first one and I didn't like it, so I threw that one out. I tried a second one, I didn't like that. And so finally I came up with this third idea, and I'm thinking, obviously I think it's going to work to some level, because here I am behind a microphone talking about it. So that's kind of part of what, since we've been covering this for so long and I know people are going to forget, what can I do to get them actually engaged and working on the text themselves? And I think I've got some ideas. A second thought came to my mind is, basically now for Victory Baptist Church, we're basically doing everything online now. We're basically doing everything online for all practical purposes. So that means typically on Sunday morning, I'll go on live and we'll do the first hour, and then we'll do the second hour. and it's just me here. People are there. Some people will listen to the first hour. They don't come back for the second hour. You kind of get a weird mix. I haven't quite figured out the best way to pull that off. And I'm still trying to get used to that kind of format and what's a good way to do so. But I also want to try some different things, right? Because we have no real rules, binding us to what we have to do it this way. We have a little bit of freedom, so we can mix it up. So I thought, it's Saturday. It's now Saturday evening. Okay. It's no longer Saturday afternoon. It's now technically Saturday evening. I'm like, it's Saturday evening. Let me try this. Let me turn on the microphone and let me now present and have it already uploaded and ready to go tomorrow morning when people start looking. There it will be. And all they have to do is they can listen to it whenever they want on Sunday, whenever. 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 10, 11, 12, 1. It's waiting for them. They don't have to wait for the live broadcast. And they can then use Sunday morning, 2 hours, to do actual assignments on their own. They can even work together, husband and wife, family, kids, who they can get together and they can engage in their own study. So one, it'll help them remember Isaiah 40 through 44. And two, it'll be kind of this unique way. Hey, it's Sunday. Let's get to the table. Here we go. What do we have for us today? Isaiah 40 through 44, 5 assignments. Now, are you going to accomplish all 5 assignments? I doubt you'll accomplish all 5. Maybe you will, maybe you will not. Doesn't matter. You can pick 1, you can pick 2, but it'll be waiting for people on Sunday morning. And then, of course, anyone else who listens, who may not typically listen on a Sunday morning, who's not typically ever been a part of the church, they just listen to the podcast, they can engage in it as well. So I don't know if there's my reasoning for doing so. And how well it's going to be successful. The only problem with doing these kinds of broadcasts is here's the reality. And I know this because I've done these kind of broadcasts way too many times and had too many failures, but I still think that they're important to try to do. When you turn on the microphone and you're like, all right, everyone, I'm going to give you assignments. I'm going to give you something to do. A lot of people think, oh, that's interesting, but they never actually engage in the actual study or the assignments given, right? They kind of just want to hear someone else do the work for them. Now, they may not want to do the work. They love to tell you when you're wrong, okay? But I still think that, at least for me, and it's always weird because from the moment I became a Christian, I always loved this idea of being handed an assignment and I could go dig in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this. But I think most people like a more passive approach. They just want to turn on the podcast, turn on the live stream, and just hear someone do the teaching. But I still think it's important to get people, in a sense, get off the couch, put down the Doritos, put down the bowl of Captain Crunch or whatever your favorite cereal is, Apple Jacks, whatever. Get to the table, open a Bible, open a notebook, open some reference tools, some resources, and dig into the text yourself. Get your hands dirty, not from Doritos, but from the actual text. Work on it. I still think it's beneficial, but the problem is you can do an hour of giving everyone assignments or giving everyone a Bible study method. If no one uses it, you spend an hour giving everyone a method that no one's ever going to use, or you spent an hour giving everyone assignments that they're never going to do. And if they never do them, you see? So there's always that danger in doing these kinds of ideas, but I'm going to do it. So for tomorrow morning, especially for those of Victory Baptist Church, what I'm hoping you do when you wake up is you get to the table. You can sit on the couch if you would like. You can have your cup of coffee, but that you're willing to dig in and do a little bit of work on Isaiah 40 through 44 with very specific assignments. So what I tried to do was to develop some study assignments based entirely on Isaiah 40 through 44. What I've tried to do is that each one of these assignments will take maybe an hour, maybe. Now, that means immediately I'm giving you 5. 1, I'm giving you a variety. You're like you're at the Golden Corral buffet, right? I'm giving you variety so you can pick the one you like. But I'm also, hopefully they'll take about 60 to 120 minutes, 60 to 2 hours, right? An hour to 2 hours, so that you have Sunday, you've got 2 hours of things to do. Now, if one only takes you an hour, and then you've got the second one and it takes you an hour, well, then guess what? You've got your 2 hours of Sunday and you got to dig into the text. And of course, you can, ask me if you have any difficulties. I try to create these so that they basically only require a Bible and maybe a basic tool like a Bible dictionary, a concordance, an online search. And I'm tried to help put this together in a way that it promotes kind of deep engagement with the text. Because what we were supposed to do tomorrow morning is begin our observational outline on Isaiah chapter 44, right? I have it ready to go. I have all the notes ready to go. But I thought maybe we could try something different, because if we just move on to Isaiah 44 and move on to Isaiah 45, but then you don't remember anything about Isaiah 41, 42, you feel like sometimes, are we really accomplishing anything? So I'm going to try to give you each assignment, hopefully with a very clear theme, hopefully with very clear instructions. I'm going to try to give you very clear information about what you should produce at the end, by the time the study is over. And I'm trying to design these where you could do them by yourself. You could do it with your spouse. You could do it with your family. I don't know. You could try cats. Probably not going to work. Maybe your dog may be more willing to participate because cats will just look at you. I'm joking a little bit, but it's designed that, you could have people over Sunday afternoon and work on it together. You could be like, okay, he gave us this stuff Sunday morning. Hey, this is what we'll do. We'll invite people over, have a big lunch, and we'll all work on this together. You can do that. All right. So here is study. Are you ready? 5 assignments for Isaiah 40 through 44, initially designed to be done Sunday, June the 22nd, 2025. However, they can be done tonight. You don't have anything to do Saturday night? Well, here you go. You got something to do, right? Sunday night, they can be whenever, but they are initially designed primarily for the people of Victory Baptist Church to be done tomorrow morning. That's really the design. And we'll see if this is successful. I'm probably going to get, I don't like it. And I understand. Others may say they like it. Others may not say anything because they're not going to do anything. But we will see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Are you ready? Study assignment number 1. Who is this God? Who is this God? The character of God in Isaiah 40 through 44. We'll call this assignment, Who is this God? And we'll talk about the character of God as seen in Isaiah 40 through 44. Here is your objective, all right? There's kind of the title. Who is this God? The character of God in Isaiah 40 through 44. What is the objective for this assignment? I want you to explore, and I want you to document all the ways God describes himself in Isaiah 40 through 44. And then I want you to consider what that reveals about his nature. There's the objective. Explore and document all the ways God describes himself in Isaiah 40 through 44 and consider what it reveals about his nature. Here are some instructions. Now, I could tell you, read Isaiah 40 through 44. I could tell you that, right? But nobody is going to sit down tomorrow morning and read Isaiah 40 through 44. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do it as a family. Nobody's going to do it as a husband and wife. They're not. You're going to just start skimming it. And that's okay. If you can read it, wonderful, because then that would reinforce everything that we've been talking about since October of 2024. But I know it's probably too much to get people to do that. But there you go. Maybe you could just read like Isaiah 40 and then explore and document all the ways God describes himself. Then when you're done with 40, then read 41. Maybe do it that way. As you read, now I think if you do it that way, read Isaiah 40, and then as you read, write down every title, every name, or description God uses for himself. Hence could be Redeemer, Holy One of Israel, I think is one you will find. So, in a sense, this is what you'll do. You'll open up your Bible. You'll start reading Isaiah 40. You can work with people. They can read 3 verses. You can read 3 verses, whatever the case may be. And you can have someone listening, whatever the case may be, and you start writing down. Oh, there's a title for God. There's a name. There's a description. All right? Start writing down every single one. And so you just make a list. You go from Isaiah 40, Isaiah 41, Isaiah 42, Isaiah 43, Isaiah 44. And then you have your list of all of the titles, all of the descriptions. And then I want you to use a Bible dictionary or some online resource to define at least 5 of the key titles. If you can come up with at least 5 titles, then define what those titles mean, what they are saying. All right, so number 1, you're going to read. So I think the way we should do this is read Isaiah 40. Then as you read, write down every title, name, description God uses for himself, creator, redeemer, those type of titles. Then go to 41, do the same thing. Go to 42, do the same thing. Go to 43, do the same thing. Go to 44. You'll have an entire list. Then I want you to try to look up a definition and define at least 5 of those key titles. Then I want you to look up the following passages: Exodus 3:14, Deuteronomy 6:4, Revelation 1:8. And I want you to compare the language used for God in those texts with Isaiah 44, 6 through 8. So you'll look up Exodus 3:14, Deuteronomy 6:4, Revelation 1:8, and compare it with what is used in Isaiah 44, 6 through 8. And then just write down what you find. Do you see anything interesting? Nothing? Maybe something? Well, you write down something. Just write down a sentence, a paragraph, anything. If you don't see anything interesting, great. If you see something interesting, great. I'm not saying there is. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm having you look things up and read and think. That's what I'm getting you to do. All right? So you're going to start reading. You'll start with Isaiah 40. As you read, you're going to write down every title, name, description God uses of himself. You'll go then to Isaiah 41, 42, 43, 44. You'll have your entire list. Then you're going to use a Bible dictionary, online resource. You're going to write down a definition for at least 5 of those key titles. Then you're going to look up Exodus 3:14, Deuteronomy 6:4, Revelation 1:8, and you're going to compare the language used for God in those texts with Isaiah 44, 6 through 8, and you just write down any observation, any thought, any idea, just anything you see. So what is the output I'm going to be looking for? Well, I'm hoping that you have at least 15 divine names, titles from Isaiah 40 through 44. I'm hoping that you come up with at least 15 divine names and titles from Isaiah 40 through 44, titles, names, some kind of description of God that you find there, at least 15 of them. And then I just want you to write down a paragraph where you're answering basically, what does this picture of God teach you about who he is and how he wants to be known? All right? I want you, hopefully by the end you have at least 15, and I want you to just try to basically write a paragraph answering this question. What does this picture of God teach you about who he is and how he wants to be known? Now, I could phrase that a little differently. In fact, let's change that. I don't like the way that's phrased. See, I was going with more making it about us, but that's faulty. That's flawed, right? So I think what we should do is I want you to write a paragraph, a short paragraph saying this. What does this picture of God teach those in Babylonian captivity about who he is and how he wants them to know him? That's the way it should be been written. I did that incorrectly. That was my fault. What does the picture? You've got 15 divine names and titles. You've looked at everything in Isaiah 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. You've defined at least 5 of them. So I want you to then write down a paragraph answering, what does this entire picture of God teach Israel, teach those in captivity about who he is and how he wants to be known, because that's what you need to take away from it first and foremost, far before you insert yourself into it. There's assignment number 1. Assignment number 2. Formed or fashioned. Formed or fashioned. What God makes versus what man makes. Formed or fashioned, what God makes versus what man makes. Here's the objective. I want you to trace the theme of formation and compare how the text distinguishes between what God creates and what humans construct, especially idols. So that's your objective. I want you to trace this theme of formation and compare how the text, Isaiah 40 through 44, distinguishes between what God creates and what humans construct. So what will you do? What will you do? What will you do? You're going to obviously read, skim, go through Isaiah 40 through 44, and I want you to write down every time you see the words form, fashion, make, or create. All right, Isaiah 40 through 44, and I want you to make a list of every time you see the words form, fashion, make, or create. Something along those lines, because depending on translations, any words that would capture the idea of forming something, fashioning something, making something, creating something. All right, you get the idea? Then I want you to create 2 columns. You can take a piece of paper, just split it in half. On one side, column A, what God forms or fashions. What God forms, what God fashions, what God creates. Column B, what humans form, what humans fashion. So you're going to go through Isaiah 40 through 44. You're going to highlight every time you see the word form, fashion, make, or create, or any words that would have those similar ideas. You're going to create 2 columns. Column A, what God forms or fashions. Column B, what humans form or fashion. Right? And you're going to write all of it on paper. Okay, this is not just you to lay on the couch and just say, God does that. You need to write it on paper. And then I want you to read Isaiah 44, 9 through 20 carefully, and I want you to summarize the process of idol making and what does it reveal about human nature. So number 1, you're going to read Isaiah 40 through 44. You're going to highlight every time you see those words, form, fashion, make, create. Then you're going to create 2 columns on a piece of paper. Column A, you're going to list everything God forms and fashions. Column B, what humans form or fashion. Then you're going to read Isaiah 44, 9 through 20. And I want you to read it carefully. And I want you to summarize on paper the process of idol making and what does it reveal about your nature, my nature, human nature. Now, I want you can use the Blue Letter Bible app if you would like. And I want you to look up the words form, create. You should see 2 different Hebrew words and see if you notice any differences. Form or fashion versus create. All right? Is there a difference? Is there a difference? 2 Hebrew words you should probably come up with. I don't want to give you the Hebrew words. I want you to, and the Blue Letter Bible app is free. Anyone can download it. And it gives you the interlinear. You'll just go through and you'll go Isaiah 43. And once you see the verse, you just tap on it. It'll open up the interlinear. Then you'll see the verse and then it'll give you the Strong's definition of form, formed, create. Just look at all of the Hebrew words and see if you notice any major differences. So then what are you going to end up with? Hopefully a 2-column chart comparing divine versus human formation. And then I just want you to write it like a paragraph. What does this theme say about God's power and human foolishness? I want you to be able to write down something. What does this theme say about God's power and human foolishness? If you're doing it as a group, you can have it as a discussion. After you're done, what does all of this say about God's power versus man's foolishness? All right. Number 3, servant. Now, this one, I came up with a lot of different things to do with this one, but what I want you to do is I just want you to go through Isaiah 40 through 44, and I want you, I'll give you specific passages I want you to look at, all right? Yeah, I'll give you specific passages. This one, I'll make it simpler, all right? So the objective here is to kind of understand how this idea of servant is used in Isaiah 40 through 44. All right. So I'm not going to make it as simple. I'll make it a little bit more difficult. I want you to go through Isaiah 40 through 44 and look at any time and make a list at any time you see the word servant. Anytime you see the word servant, my servant, anytime you see that term. And then I want you to write down every phrase or description applied to servant. To servant. All right, I want you to write down everything, every description you can find about servant. So find all the references to servant and then everything said about the servant. What is said? And you'll have to look at the verses before and look at the verses after. I've done a lot of this work for you. Some of you want to go look at your notes. Don't do that. Do this new, do this fresh so that you can see things in a new way. Never rely on past study. All right, so go through Isaiah 40 through 44, write down every time you see the word servant. Then I want you to write down every phrase or description that is applied to servant. All right, then I want you to look up the word servant, hopefully in a Bible dictionary, and then what are the implications of being a servant? Right? Then I want you to compare Isaiah 44, 1 through 2 with Isaiah 42, 18 through 20. What do you see there? You just compare, contrast. What do you see? Just what do you see? I'm not giving you any hints. You look at Isaiah 44, 1 through 2 with Isaiah 42, 18 through 20. Just compare, contrast. What do you see? What do you not see? Do you see anything interesting? Now, don't just look really quick and move on. Really think about it and write down what you're seeing. You can do any extra work you want to do with that. Then, number 5, I want you to read Isaiah 43:25 and Isaiah 44:22 again. How does God respond? Well, how does God respond? I'll just leave it there. All right, so you're going to go through Isaiah 40 through 44. You're going to look at every time you see the word servant. Then I want you to write down everything that describes the servant. Then I want you to look up servant in a Bible dictionary. What does it mean to be a servant? Then I want you to compare Isaiah 44, 1 through 2 with Isaiah 42, 18 to 20. Then I want you to read Isaiah 43:25 and Isaiah 44:22. And I want you to answer, how does God respond? What is he responding to? All right. There's more you could do there. I'll just kind of, that one you're going to kind of get into, and it'll just be interesting what you come up with. I'm kind of leaving out a little bit of ambiguity on that. All right. Okay, next one. Number 4. So let's go through these again. Number 1, we are calling number 1, who is this God? The character of God in Isaiah 40 through 44. Number 2, formed or fashioned, what God makes versus what man makes. Number 3, the servant. We'll just call it tracing the servants. Tracing the servants. I'm not even really having you doing a lot of identifying them. I just want you to looking at that word servant and how it's used and what's being said. Number 4, God and the nations. Number 4, God and the nations. Here's the objective. I want you to study how God interacts with the nations, especially Babylon and Cyrus, and what that reveals about his control over history. So what do I want you to do? I want you to read, in this case, specific passages of Scripture. Isaiah 41, 2 through 4. Isaiah 41, 25. Isaiah 43, 14. Isaiah 44, 24 through 28. I want you to read Isaiah 41, 2 through 4, Isaiah chapter 41, verse 25, Isaiah 43, 14, and Isaiah 44, 24 through 28. And then I want you to make a list of all the actions God takes towards the nations, stirs up, brings down, sends, calls by name, all the actions he does. Now, I could just expand this to go through all of that, but I gave you specific passages. Isaiah 41, verses 2 through 4, verse 20, and Isaiah 41, 25, Isaiah 43, 14, and Isaiah 44, 24 through 28. I want you to make a list of all the actions God takes towards the nations. I want you to look up Cyrus, Bible dictionary, online resource, and simply I want you to write down a summary of who he was and what he did in history. Just I want you to reinforce Cyrus, the importance of Cyrus. I want you to read Ezra chapter 1, verses 1 through 4, and I want you to compare it to Isaiah 44, verse 28. I want you to read Ezra chapter 1, verses 1 through 4, and compare it to Isaiah 44 through 28, or 44, 28. All right? And you can just write down any observation you have. And then number 5, I want you you can write this out, you can discuss it. What does it mean that God uses a pagan king to fulfill his purpose for Israel? I want you to write down what you think maybe the 3 important implications are from God using a pagan king to accomplish his purpose. What are the implications of that? Does that lead you to some kind of philosophical problem? There you go. That's all. You kind of have everything to do on that one. And then last but not least, fear not. I want you to trace comfort and hope in the midst of judgment. Study 5, fear not. The objective is I want you to follow the thread of comfort, hope, and fear, not in a book written to, I want you to follow the thread of comfort, hope, and fear. This is written very weird. Okay, so yeah. All right. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I was obviously having some kind of mental lapse here. I don't know what was going on here. Okay, but yeah, I want you to follow the thread of comfort, hope, and fear and Isaiah 40 through 44. So here is your instruction. I want you to once again go through Isaiah 40 through 44 slowly and write down every verse that contains fear not, I am with you, I will help you, I have redeemed you. Just anything that's offered as comfort, anything that's offered as hope, anything that's offered. All right, I want you to write down all of those, anything that's about fear not, I'm with you, I'm going to help you, just everything that offers comfort, everything that offers hope, everything. All right, just make a list of it all. And then I simply want you to answer this question on paper. What kind of people are these promises spoken to, and do they deserve the comfort? I want you to look up Isaiah 43:2 and compare it to Psalm 23 and just do a compare and contrast. And then I want you to reflect on the phrase in Isaiah 43:1 I have called you, you are mine. I want you to look at Isaiah 43:1 and look at some of those phrases that are stated, those very positive phrases. And what does this suggest in the context of the Babylonian captivity? What does it suggest? What do those positive words in Isaiah 43:1 suggest in the context of the Babylonian captivity? What do you think it suggests? And then I want you to just simply write out, why does God comfort the undeserving? And what kind of comfort is this? And how should we respond to it? Why does God comfort the undeserving? And what kind of comfort is it? And that's it. Those are your 5 Isaiah 40 through 44 study assignments. Some of those I think you can go relatively quick. Now, again, it depends on how much work. See, my fear is some people just do these things like it's a checklist. Okay, all right, hurry, done. No, it's not about hurry, done. It's about taking your time and seeing, once you start digging into the study, what are you finding? What are you discovering? Maybe you start looking a little bit more and a little deeper. And by the time you're done, hopefully you've got a great understanding of Isaiah 40 through 44. Because even if you don't do all 5 of these, you only do 2 or 3 of these, you've gone through the text multiple times. So you're going to at least observe the text even more. And hopefully by the time you're done, you've taken something very specific away from this section of Scripture. So, for everyone at Victory Baptist Church, tomorrow morning, 2 hours. Dedicate to those study assignments. To everyone who listens to the podcast, do some work on Isaiah 40 through 44. Take advantage of this. Use these studies. Now, if you're listening tonight, you've not been a part of our study of Isaiah 40 through 44 that we started in October of 2024. As I've stated, we've done over 76 hours of teaching on Isaiah 40 through 43. We haven't even started Isaiah 44. We were supposed to start tomorrow with an observational outline. We will do that next week. But for tomorrow, for everyone, specifically for the church, you've got 2 hours tomorrow. Your focus is simply on doing these assignments. Hopefully you'll do all 5, maybe you'll do 3, but you'll work on them. For everyone else, you can start working on them tonight. You can start working on them. You can use tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow, you can use these as well. I think I gave the instructions pretty clear. All right. Study 1. Who is this God? The character of God in Isaiah 40 through 44. Those instructions were pretty clear. Study assignment 2, formed or fashioned, what God makes versus what man makes. I think pretty clear. Study 3, the idea of the servant. I could have expanded on that a little bit more. I wanted to do a little bit more with that one, but I'm not. I'll have you work on servant. We've done so much work on the servant controversy in Isaiah 40 through 55, or Isaiah 40 through 44, we've completely reinterpreted the way most people handle it. But yeah, just do a little bit of work on that. Study 4, God and the nations, the sovereign Lord over history. That one's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then number 5, there's not a lot to this one. Well, I guess it's a little bit of work. Fear not, tracing comfort and hope in the midst of judgment. Yeah, this is the way I think now that I'm looking at my notes, this is the way I should have written it. Follow the thread of comfort, hope, and fear not, and a book written to people in exile and judgment. The way I have it written is follow the thread of comfort, hope, and fear, comma, not in a book written to people in exile and judgment. And I'm like, what did I put? What is that? Obviously, it's for people in exile and judgment. Well, wait, did I lose my ever-living mind? Okay. Punctuation can matter. Okay. There you have it. I always hate these kinds of ideas because, see, I'm done and I felt like I did 40 minutes and I didn't really teach anything, right? But I'm giving you great opportunity to dig into the scriptures. Now, these things are of no value if people don't actually work on them, but hey, you got a Bible. You really don't need a lot of tools with that. A Bible, Blue Letter Bible app, I think is very helpful. And then, Bible dictionary, if you have one, or online resources. And for the most part, you don't have a lot to look up other than just digging into the text. So, Isaiah 40 through 44. Next week, we start our observational outline in Isaiah 44. We'll do 2 hours next Sunday, getting that observational outline ready to go down and hopefully formed. And then once we do the observational outline, we'll start our verse-by-verse exegesis of Isaiah 44. Then Isaiah 45, we'll do an observational outline, verse-by-verse exegesis, Isaiah 46, 47, 48, 49. And we need to do some more sermon reviews as well, but yeah, those sermon reviews have not proven to be very beneficial, other than to prove the point that I stated is the hermeneutical disaster. That's Isaiah 40 through 55 for some weird reason in most churches. All right, thanks for listening. Everyone have a great Saturday evening, wonderful Sunday. Get busy. Go study. Stop. Move on. Come on. Get your notebook. Get your pencil. Move on. Okay. Go. Get busy.